Hi, it's Steve. I'm at 1020 Monroe, our new site for Monroe Community Church. And they're about to start drywalling next week. So this is our last chance to kind of see the building in its skeletal form. And so we thought it'd be a good chance to do one more tour of the bones of the building. And I am standing on the west end of the gallery. No, it is not a lobby. It is not a narthex. We are going to call our main public space the gallery, and it'll be equipped like a gallery. And I've just come through the main doors. There's going to be a big glass door in this garage door, and then the smaller garage door is going to be our glass vestibule. And to our right are the offices and the meeting room. And wherever you see wood studs, we're going to do a decorative sanded plywood finish. Wherever you see metal studs, we'll get gypboard that gets painted. And so that's why a lot of people are asking, why are there two types of studs on the project? And that's why. So the gallery will have some sturdy walk-off carpet near the entrance, and then it'll be mostly ground concrete. And the ground concrete right now doesn't look like very much. It's been ground about 1/8 of an inch, and so you can see the aggregate, which is the stone that's in the concrete when it was poured back in 1964. It doesn't look like much because they've still got that epoxy that they spread onto the floor, and then they cast this reactive agent on top that almost looks like salt. And it's curing right now, but it's going to look like this. The group did a little sample for us, and you can see how pretty the concrete is going to be. There's stones of all kinds of different colors in that concrete that they poured way back when, that I'm sure they never had any concept that someone would come along and do something like this to their floor. The gallery has lots of natural light coming in from the north. There's 11 windows coming in from the north. And that's nice because we won't have to deal with a lot of glare from the sun. There's an entrance into the worship center. This is the back of the tech booth, where Jeff DeHeer, our tech leader, has been working very carefully with Josh from Elders Electric, where every little piece of conduit is going and controls are going. It all comes to this box and then up, and then goes into the worship center wherever all those little spaghettis need to go. There'll be a big overhead coiling shutter between worship and fellowship. One of the things people enjoy about our current space is that there's really no threshold between worship and fellowship. But then there's other people that say, boy, I wish we had a little bit more privacy, because those conversations that are happening in the back are a little bit of a distraction for us. So we get the best of both worlds. With that, here's our kitchenette. There'll be a serving counter in the front, about 14 feet of serving counter with electrical outlets for crock pots. There'll be a television monitor on the wall here for people that might want to experience the worship experience from out in the cafe. And then inside the kitchen, there's going to be a double basin sink and 2 dishwashers. There's power along this counter for lots of crock pots. And then there'll be a refrigerator and 220 power and a water line for our big coffee brewer that was generously donated to us by Sunshine CRC. Thank you very much. There'll be another entrance here into the worship center from all points east. We have the family toilet room and a shower room and adult changing room in the back of the family toilet. That was a request from City Hope. Then we have the women's room and the men's room, and a utility room with washer, dryer, slop sink, and the water heater in that space. There will be an entrance vestibule from Ottawa. The sidewalk comes in from the sidewalk down there, and then comes in here under a canopy. And that's an entrance for all points east. But that will also set up a low wall across to the corner of that stud wall. All this space in here will be a children's play zone. And there'll be a low wall with a counter and stools and power, and parents can watch their kids play and still have a adult conversation with friends. There'll be a children's check-in booth right here that gets power and data from that location, and that coil of conduit is ready for being strung out into this counter. And this door will have access control. There's the wire for the access control system. And now we're in children's ministry. The first room is the infant nursery with a door to a nursing mom's room right there. Just a little space for 2 glider rockers. And there'll be a door and a window between the infant nursery and the toddler nursery in case any of the nursery workers need help from the other side. And there'll also be a window between the toddler nursery and the Kids Connect room, which is probably my favorite room in this space. It's just a weird room. It's fun. It's got this sawtooth wall facing east on Ottawa Avenue, and it's got these solid surface platforms in the windows that I'm expecting kids are going to want to sit on and play in and read and maybe sit along the edge here while they take in a lesson. But it's a cool space with these beams. We will have ceilings in between the beams, but just a cool space. There'll be a storage room accessible from here and the older kids' classroom, a sensory space, just an away room for kids that are being overwhelmed by what's going on in here or just need some time one-on-one with a teacher, and a dedicated toilet room for Kids Connect so teachers don't have to take a child back out into the lobby to use one of the larger toilet spaces. And then this is the back corridor for children's ministry. There's the daycare office, which was a request from the daycare provider that we've been working with and designing the space around. Another toilet room for the older kids, and for toilet training kids, there's a tiny potty in that room as well. There's a window here and a door to our older kids' classroom, which we've known as Bible Bistro for a long time. And this room is going to be a little bit more rough and tumble. It's going to have exposed ceilings and have light fixtures with cages on them, so if a Nerf war breaks out in this space, it can survive. We've done a double wall here between worship and this room so that we can run continuous sound attenuation between the children's ministry spaces and the worship center. Again, this door also gets access control. And now we're in the worship space. It's a big space. It's going to have a curtained area and then the stage in the middle of this wall and then another curtained area. And it's more than double our current worship capacity. Those black doors are going to be to a shop. And with the amount of work that we do with artists and Art Prize and wanting to be creative with sets and backdrops and things like that, it'll be great to have a space that's kind of a maker space or a shop in that area. And then just past that brown cart is the live streaming center, a separate room so they can interact with each other and talk and cue each other without disrupting worship. And then the meeting room with a window to the worship space. The first set of doors into worship, the tech booth, the overhead coiling shutter, the back of the kitchen, another set of doors to the gallery, and the doorway to children's ministry. Let's go up onto the booth real quick. So, because we've always had a coffee shop style section of seating, we strategically are going to bring conduit down these columns to outlets and USB jacks for charging phones and for people who might want to have their laptop out for worship or for a conference or for whatever's going on in here. but we are planning on keeping the cafe seating and the bistro seating in this new space. Up in the booth, it's a big booth, but it's a training booth. And we have the audio position and the video position and the lighting position along here. Quick go over to the live streaming room. There'll be an 8-foot counter along this wall for the audio and the video positions for live streaming. And they'll be able to see everything that's going on their camera screens. However, there will be an insulated window here for being able to put their eyes on the real thing going on in the space and feel a little bit better part of the congregation. This space will be storage for now, but in the master plan, it's open office and there's more windows that get cut into this outer exterior wall. And there's space here for another office. Last but not least, the shop. It'll be great to have a place for some power tools and for some storage of raw materials and deep storage for the church. But it's great to have the overhead door for big pieces of artwork or deliveries to come into this spot as well. And these doors, again, connect to the backstage. So there you have it, a quick update on March 6th. Thanks for staying with me this long. Keep praying for the project. Pray for the safety and the enjoyment of these construction workers that we've gotten to know. I know about 7 of them by name now, and they say hi when I come. Jeff DeHeer's here almost every lunch hour because he works right across the river, and like me, he can't seem to stay away. And he's on a first-name basis with a lot of the people, too. In fact, he's got email addresses and cell phone numbers. So he's doing a great job checking up on the project as well and thinking about all the technical and wiring and security and IT aspects of the project. So keep praying, and we need to give generously. There's still monies to be raised to be able to fulfill MCC's portion of the project budget, and keep digging deep. Thanks for sticking with me this far, MCC, and anyone else who watches this. It's very, very exciting, and it's starting to become much more real. So enjoy.